Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Beard of Darkness Book Reviews, and yes, it's been a little while since I've done like a dedicated review or just a regular video. I've been doing a lot of interviews. I've really enjoyed that, by the way, and if you guys haven't checked them out, I'll put the link in the description below. What I'm touching on today is I get a lot of questions as far as where do I start in indie fantasy. So I get a lot of other questions too regarding indie fantasy. It's not as hard as some make it out to be, so I just wanted to sum that all up with one video. We're going to call this video The Ultimate Guide to Indie Fantasy, and we're going to start with what is indie fantasy? Well, indie anything really just means it's not done traditionally. Indie fantasy simply means that an indie author, a self-published author, has taken their own work, most likely gotten it edited, has a cover artist, alpha readers, beta readers, and then they published their own book through, there's a bunch of different companies, Amazon, you've got Ingram Spark. This bypasses the need for a traditional publisher, meaning Stephen King writes his book and everybody does the kind of the work for him, not taking anything away from Stephen King and his immense success, but an indie author does all that himself. He has to market himself or herself, find cover artists, find editors, and it's not easy. Most of the time they have 9-to-5 jobs, families, and this is a side project. A somewhat confusing part of fantasy period, not just indie fantasy, are the subgenres. And the subgenres, just to name a few, we've got dark fantasy, we've got urban fantasy, you've got low fantasy, you have high fantasy, you have magical realism, you have epic fantasy, you have sword and sorcery, just to name a few. And yes, it is confusing. The best thing to do is not necessarily write down exactly what I'm saying during this part of the video. Just simply search subgenres of fantasy, and you can apply that to indie or published. Another big issue is that you don't find any indie fantasy books or indie books period at like Walmart or Target. Maybe I'm wrong. I haven't seen any, but I do know some bookstores, physically and virtually, that carry just amazing amounts of indie fantasy books and the authors. We've got Amazon as a big one. You've got Barnes and Nobles. In the UK, you have Waterstones. You also have Broken Binding and other special edition or signed edition specialty shops like Broken Binding. You've got Inkstone's books. They also do collector's editions and stuff like that of indie fantasy. There are others. Just do a Google search and you'll see there's just so many amazing outlets for indie authors to ask for representation and get their books out in the open. Silverstone Books is I believe they're going to start doing a physical store, so you can walk in and grab these indie books. They have a fabulous website, and I've gotten a couple of books from them myself. It's impeccably wrapped and packaged, and it comes with goodies. It's really fun. So Silverstone Books is one I would absolutely recommend, and Broken Binding, very much recommend them too. They treat indies so well. They've given them such a wonderful platform to, 10 years ago you didn't have special editions of indie books. There wasn't a market for one. There's a huge market for it now. The last time I checked, I was like 7,000 on their subscription list, waiting list. I'm still anxiously awaiting to get on their subscription suite, because every time they come out with a collector's edition or special edition of an indie book that I know that I love or will love when I read it, I'm jealous to see all the people who get those in the mail. So I hope that I can soon be on that list. So I'm on YouTube, I'm on Facebook, Discord, Reddit, you know, all these big time social medias, the absolute best place to find indie recommendations or the authors themselves is Twitter by far. I'm not calling it X because that just sounds weird. I'm going to call it Twitter because everybody knows what the hell I'm talking about when I say that. By far the best platform for the book community, in my opinion. Now, if somebody was to come up to me and say, hey, who should I start with as far as an author in the indie realm here? And gosh, that's a really hard one, but I'm gonna give you some really good indie authors as somewhere where I would direct you to start. Andy Palaquin is a very good, well-known indie author of the fantasy genre. Rob J. Hayes, the other day somebody referenced him as indie royalty. I would say that that's correct. Michael Michelle, wonderful indie author. Mike Molman, D.B. Rook. You have David T. List. Of course, Ryan Cahill. He's pretty much the top tier as far as indie authors and how well they've done. He's doing fantastic. He represents indie authors very well. He goes to conventions, he signs books, he's very busy, he works hard. He's a great example of an indie author that is very successful. Zach Argyle is another example, very successful guy. If there's something that I haven't covered in this video as far as helpful hints and tips for you to get into and find just really good indie books, or if something that I've not covered that you're confused about, please put those in the comments below. I will help address those. A good way to also help represent and support an indie author is being a part of Kindle Unlimited. The most indie books within Amazon you can find in Kindle Unlimited. I believe it's like $5 or $6 a month. And then there's so many free books as far as pay the subscription every month. It's really cheap and you get all these books for free. Like I said, most of the indie authors I know that are on Amazon, all of their books are included within this package called Kindle Unlimited. Thank you guys for tuning in today. I hope that this helped with any questions that you have. Again, thank you for tuning in to Bearded Darkness Book Reviews. Stay tuned for some more awesome interviews and some more book reviews and videos like this. Like, share, comment, all that fun stuff. It helps the channel and helps it grow.